Zenni believes everyone deserves access to high-quality, affordable eyewear. That's why they offer thousands of stylish prescription glasses for adults and kids starting at just $6.95. At Zenni, you get the same high-quality frame and lens options that you'd get from an optician for 1/10 of the price, including blue light glasses, progressives, prescription sunglasses, and more. The best part? You can try on any frame from the comfort of your couch with their 3D virtual try-on. Stop overpaying for eyewear and check out Zenni.com. That's Zenni.com.
New on CuriosityStream. How do you connect a 16th century potato to limitless energy production? Could Napoleon's toothpick have a direct link to a machine that predicts the future? And how can a 1700s conch shell chart a course to humans connecting their brains to the internet? James Burke's visionary series Connections returns for a new generation. Experience all new Connections. With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
In times of old, in times of new, there's a God to follow to make it true. It's the pop culture field, and you will.
Hello, all you time travelers and all you goons, creeps, and freaks as well. They don't really go together, but hell, this is my world, and you're just living in Israel. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, sitting right at that intersection of weapons, action, the military, and, of course, pop culture, because that's what this is all about. And today we have a very sci-fi topic, so I know Izzy is very excited.
I'm very excited. I'm always excited. I feel like I feel like a lot of these episodes, like time travel or zombies or space aliens,
Sure.
there could be all these could be like offshoots. They could be like like House of the Dragon to the Game of Thrones, like just another podcast that I just talk about time travel like forever, because I feel like I could just talk about it all the time. So,
Well, I mean, that's great news because not one of my favorites. I'll be
really,
honest.
are you not a big time travel like premise person, or
It's too much moving pieces. Like, to me, you can go, not that I don't like time traveling movies, it's just, it freaks me out. It's just like, I don't know, there's so many movies that have taken time travel, like the concept of time travel, and then just have gone completely different which ways. But in my mind, it's like, okay, you travel back in the past, but then obviously there has to be a lot of actions that are basically produced from the reaction of traveling back.
Yeah.
And like, it's just a touchy. To me, it's like too much can go wrong with time travel, because you have some movies, they just go back and they do whatever and then they come back and everything's fine. But then you have other movies where it's like they sneeze in the wrong direction, like the butterfly effect, where even like totally doing one minuscule thing completely changes the future, and it's like terrifying.
Yeah, that's actually one of them we're going to talk about today. Endgame. Joe and Anthony Russo, the directors, they said you basically have to choose your time travel mythos, your time travel rules. You have to choose the rules and like the idea or the theory that you're going with, and just stick within that theory. Because like you say, time travel doesn't exist. So there's no way of knowing. Not yet. But
not yet.
I feel like it would just be a disaster. Because I ascribe to I don't know which one you feel like you ascribe to, but like, I like saying ascribe because it makes me sound intelligent. I ascribe to the theorem of pushing up my glasses of like the butterfly effect, basically. You know, and actually that was A Sound of Thunder, which is an old Ray Bradbury short story. I don't know if he was the first one to introduce the idea of the butterfly effect, but that's kind of where we get it from, because it's basically you go back in the past, and if you do one thing that has like a spider web and a compounding effect, like the Ashton Kutcher movie Butterfly Effect, which is not on this list, but and then go on, and so like, and then even you would be changed, because when the time finally caught up to where you lived, things would be different anyway. So maybe you wouldn't have even gone on that time travel trip or whatever.
Sure.
It's like it's called a paradox. You know, it's like a unsolvable problem that just breaks everything.
Sure. I mean, my favorite thing that I've heard about time travel is from Rick and Morty, and it's the reason Rick doesn't do time travel. It's because he's like, I don't respect time travel because he's not interested, or I'm not interested in doing anything that the Ant-Man and Wasp had done. So
did he say that later episode?
Yeah, in the Vat of Acid episode, he's like, I don't do time travel, Morty. But there's also the whole like, okay, well, is it time travel or is it like literally interdimensional traveling too? Because like, okay, we're talking about timelines. Is there one timeline or are there infinite timelines of things going differently?
Yep.
So like, there's that theory.
Yep.
Like what's on the other side of the black hole? It could be an entire different dimension that we have no idea that, you know, me and you we've never met and we're doing, you know, I'm probably in jail and like, we don't know.
I'm president.
Yeah. And Izzy's president.
Those are the only two options really. So it's good that we live here and now.
Yeah. And this one, this is a more preferable reality.
I don't want to be president.
Yeah, no. But folks, we hope you're like not lost yet. You know, use your GPS.
We have just given you a demonstration of how confusing time travel is. You're welcome.
Exactly. So with that, let's get into some of these movies we've listed. So, I mean, the first on the list here, The Tomorrow War.
Which was not made in 1980. Sorry.
I was going to say 1980. I was like, is that a remake? Is the Chris Pratt Amazon one a remake?
I put it. That's for the final countdown. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, so actually, Tomorrow War. I watched it a couple months ago.
This is a fairly new one. This came out this year, actually.
Yeah, Chris Pratt, Amazon Prime. What'd you think of it?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's one of those things where they choose their time travel rules, and I think they chose kind of a weak one because if you start thinking about it too much, the whole logic of everything starts to break down, which, you know, like, I guess that's kind of hard to do in any time travel movie, but if you keep it like narrow, sometimes it kind of works out better for you. So like, they you know, the whole idea is like there's an alien invasion in the future and they're losing, so they travel back in time and to basically recruit people, you know, but then you find out that they're only recruiting people that they know are going to be dead by the time the aliens attack. So it's not like not causing that paradox, you know. So at least they try to kind of like put things together and stuff like that. And I forget what they do with like the machine. It's only in one place. And like it's running out of power or something like that, or running out of juice or whatever. Interesting.
Because like you think instead of just going back in time to get recruits to fight the aliens, you think you would go back a little farther and like just try to come up with something that, you know, could completely destroy them.
Right. I don't they talk about that? See, now I'm trying to remember the specifics because they talk about like, well, why don't you just go back to the time when the aliens
go back and kill
attack?
Hitler? Yeah.
Or when the aliens attack, like you can find out when they attack, and I guess that's what they end up doing. Like after his daughter dies and he comes back.
This whole podcast is spoilers. Folks. We are over 50 episodes.
Yeah, if you're listening by this,
and you're like, they're spoiling the movie. Yeah, you're lost. You're lost.
I'm the biggest Chris Pratt fan, and I didn't want
to. Yeah, you are not a time traveler, because if you did, you'd come back, listen to episode 1, and be like, the spoilers are coming.
Yeah, we don't even care. I think it's actually not even necessary for me to say that anymore because we just spoil
movies.
But that was another thing too about the movie. It was like maybe a half an hour to 45 minutes longer than I thought it was going to be. Sure. And when a movie does that to me, I have to like reset my emotional and mental state. I'm like, okay, there's more movie. This is not done yet, because he comes back.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, it's not done yet. We have this whole other set piece. We're going to go to the Antarctic.
Yeah.
We're going to find out
Which I liked that part of it. That was probably my favorite part of the movie. Because that's cool. Like super cool, you know, in the snow, snowmobiles, and they have like a bunch of cool weapons and stuff.
Yeah, he's fighting it with a knife.
But no one believed him, right? No one believed him that there is a ship already. Or because
the
aliens
thing.
Didn't arrive. They've been on the planet
for thousands of years.
They
crashed deep and they got buried. Global warming.
Global warming, man. It's a real enemy. Why don't you go back in time and, you know, stop cow farms from producing
stop
so much.
Stop the Industrial Revolution.
Exactly. Yeah. That could have stopped it. But they find out that they've actually been there. They just thawed out, and that's where the aliens came from.
Yep.
So I like that part where they go after it, because obviously they don't have the support of like the entire military, because no one believes in them. I think that's what happens.
I think they're just lazy. There's like a government dude, and they're saying, hey, he's like, listen, we're not focusing on that. Everything's fine now. The world's good. So we're going to like, I don't know. You guys remind us to let us know in the comments or in an email. It's like, because I'm too lazy to go back and watch it again,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, it was one of those movies I was like fun in the moment, but like, hey, if I'm going to make an entire movie night, I'm not going to probably like go out of my way to pick The Tomorrow War. But I mean, it was entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah. Chris Pratt's doing a good job, man.
Yeah,
I think he's doing a good job. You know, sometimes it's hard for actors, like if they're in like a big franchise or something like that. Like he's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And that was like a really big boost for him. And then, you know, I mean, I don't know if he wants to be remembered for the Jurassic World franchise, but you know, he's doing a good job of distancing himself and like putting himself out there for other, like I really like
more
the Terminals.
combat related roles.
Yeah, more. I think he's in action here. I think he does a good job with that.
Yeah, no, he does. Absolutely. Let's move on to the next one. I mean, kind of same feel in my opinion, but you know, I saw this on the list and I was like, is this time travel? Is it time travel truly? Edge of Tomorrow. I know we've talked about this one on the podcast before, but honestly, with the new making of the sequel, I think it's worth continuing. Plus, it's a really entertaining movie.
So
Tom
good,
Cruise,
man.
Yeah, Tom
it's
Cruise,
really good. They did a good
and
job.
what's the female lead?
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Yeah, they do a really good job, I think.
Yeah, the cast iron B word.
Yeah, it's basically just cast iron B word. There you go. But I think, you know, that's a Groundhog Day. I don't think that is that. Would you consider that time travel Groundhog Day?
Yeah, because he keeps going. It's time travel, but it's the same thing all the time. So he is traveling through time. He's just going back a day.
Time travel is a constant
Every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is it a day? Because he makes it pretty far. Because he gets past the invasion, and it's just every time he dies. So there's like
He resets.
There's a specific respawn point. It's not like he can go back farther or sooner. It's just he's stuck getting kicked by
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
Good old Bill Paxton.
Good old Bill
Rest
Paxton.
in peace. Rip Bill Paxton.
Exactly. But no, the movie's super entertaining.
Why do you like it? What makes it entertaining for you?
I think to me, those people, I don't think they're actual soldiers.
What do you mean those people?
What do you mean those people? But I'm just like, you go when obviously he's introducing them to his like platoon or his squad, and like they're not soldiers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just like, you know, anybody that they could pick up off the street. Like you can tell that this is kind of like a Tomorrow War scenario where they just need recruits to fight this battle, right?
Because it's a desperate thing.
Yeah, because I mean, that's the whole reason he's there is because he's in charge of the military's marketing.
He was the PR guy.
He's the PR guy.
Yeah.
He's the face of the fight.
He was like major by rank, like pin only. Like he did not earn that.
You know, he didn't go through basic training, right? He wasn't combat trained, anything. He just wore the uniform and was like the face of like recruiting. But then the general of the world order, that's funny.
Yeah.
How they like, then it was like another allied, like from World War II, but he's like a Scottish guy.
It's Domhnall Gleeson's dad, Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah. Is he Scottish or is he English in that?
Wait.
He might be English. English or Scottish? What's the difference? That's going to offend some people, but that's okay.
We just lost our European audience.
That's okay. Come at me.
Come at me, UK.
Come at me, mate. But
Come at me, bro.
We love our Scots. We love our Brits.
We love our UK.
Yeah, they're
people.
very cool.
Our ook people.
Whatever that means. But yeah, I think that's he throws him into it because he's like, you need to be on the front lines because you're the face. He's like, we need the lead. The leader's just like the Emily Blunt's character. She's like a big, you know, PR thing too. And if people see that they're following her in the battle,
the hero of Verdun.
Yeah, the hero of Verdun. So that kind of gives you like a kind of warm and fuzzy that you're like following a seasoned war vet into the fight that way. I don't know. What do you think about that like strategy for like motivating soldiers? If you see like back in World War II, General Patton, him, you know, on the truck, if you were walking alongside the tanks and you saw General Patton coming along saying, let's go, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot that crowd myself. You know?
Absolutely, man. No, I think like when it comes to PR, it really does work, man. Like like when they talk about like Top Gun coming out in the 80s and it was a big recruiting tool for like Navy pilots and stuff like that stuff works, you know, like we need heroes. We need people to inspire us and things like that. And it's just funny because in the movie, you know, it comes to find out that the only reason she won that battle was because she had the power.
She had the
before
power, but she
him.
lost it because they gave her a blood transfusion. Right?
Yeah.
No, it's all about the blood, man.
I like this movie because it's a really well done hero's journey story.
Sure.
Like you guys have you heard me talk about it before? An arc. If a character goes through a change in the movie, and you can see, you know, because he's totally a selfish dude.
Yeah, he's selfish. He's a coward.
He's a coward. He tries to blackmail the general, you know, and the general's like, "Oh, okay, we'll see about that," you know. Yeah. But then at the very end, he becomes selfish. He's selfish and he becomes selfless.
Yeah,
you know, because he's trying. It ends up being he's like, "Why can't I save her? Why does she always die in every scenario?" You know what I mean? And so I just really appreciate that. I don't know what they're going to do for the sequel, man, because
I think they're going to show Emily Blunt's story of how she lost it.
Oh.
That's what I think. So
Oh,
that's
okay, a
my
prequel.
thing. Yeah, so kind of like a prequel to it instead of a sequel, where because she's like, obviously you get background that like she had it too.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to show the evolution of how she got to where she is. Like what actions put her in that position to where she is. It the Full Metal Bee? The Full Metal bitch? Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say it because I can say it anyways.
Yeah, you can say it.
Yeah, Izzy can't say it, but I can say
I can't.
it. Yeah,
I'm
she's Full Metal
legally
bitch,
obligated
right?
to not say it.
But yeah, no, I think it's gonna that's my guess. It's gonna show her journey, and then I think at the end of it, Tom Cruise is gonna come in, and that's when she meets.
It'll
Tom Cruise
dovetail
at the
together.
end. Yeah.
I think I don't. Yeah, that's funny because I don't know what Tom Cruise's schedule is because I think I would like him to be in it. I would like it to be something because. Okay, so where does it leave us at the end? He kills the mother brain.
Yeah.
But then he gets the mother brain's blood, so he goes back even further.
Yeah.
To like the day before he's supposed to be blackmailed and sent in, and he lands and he finds out that all the aliens have died. They just all died because they're all connected psychically by the mother brain. And then he goes to her and she's training. She's like, "Do I got some on my face? What are you looking at me?" And then he smiles because he knows what had happened. So like. Is there going to be like more aliens? Is the mother brain going to survive? Is there going to be like something else where the mother brain alien has jumped before him or something like that? Because they got to, James Cameron is fond of saying, and he's pretty good at sequels. You got to do the same thing but different. You know what I mean? Because people they obviously liked the first one enough.
Yeah, I did.
That's
one of those movies. I won't go out of my way to watch Tomorrow War, but I did put it on the other day. I was like, Edge of Tomorrow's available. Let's watch this.
It is good.
It is a good one. Sydney did not like it.
Really?
She's like, this has been done before because she was talking about Groundhog Day. She's like,
yes, yeah.
She's not a time travel fan.
There's another one that we can talk about. We can jump down a little bit if you want to do this one.
Do it, dude.
Source Code.
Source Code.
Yeah.
Ooh, I've never seen this.
Oh, it's so good, man. I cried in this movie, but I cry in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Source Code stars Jake Gyllenhaal. I think it was back in like 2016, 2015 or something like that. But he wakes up in a train, but he's not himself. Like he's with Michelle Monaghan, I think, and she's calling him somebody else. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I'm, he's like Jack Ventress is the guy's name, and he's like, no, I'm Sam Coulter or whatever, or Coulter Stevens. She's like, no, what are you talking about? He's like, no, this isn't right. I'm not supposed to be here. I was on a helicopter mission in Iraq and something happened. And then boom, the train blows up. And then he wakes up and he's in like this big rig. He's like in his uniform and he's strapped into this huge, it's like a chamber.
Sure.
And he's like, what's going on? And so he can see there's a girl on a monitor, Vera Farmiga. And she's like talking to him. She's like, I want you to acknowledge, are you okay? And he's like, what's going on? She's like, you're in something called the source code. And it's basically, it's not time travel, it's time reassignment. That train had been blown up a couple hours earlier and everybody died. And she says, we have a lead on another bomb, a bigger bomb, a dirty bomb that's going to cover all of San Francisco or all of Chicago in nuclear waste.
Interesting.
She's like, we need you, the bomber is on that train and he planted that bomb on that train. We need you to go back into this kind of pocket of time that they have in this thing called the source code, and we need you to find out who the bomber is.
So the train he wakes up on is the train. No, that one blows up. You said.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Yeah. But so it's like, it's Groundhog Day because they keep sending him back and he has 8 minutes
to get on another train.
To do whatever he can to find information. It's already happened.
Oh, so that's the train that they're talking about is the dirty bomb.
No, the train is the smaller bomb. And they say this train got blown up 2 hours ago or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
He's like, we're going to insert your consciousness into this dude's body.
Oh, so it's not his body. He's kind of doing like an out-of-body insertion.
Exactly.
Into another person that's on the dirty train.
Yeah.
I got you.
And then he has 8 minutes until the bomb explodes. And it's always going to happen. Like, he can't change it, but he can gather information and talk to people and do whatever he wants, basically, because it doesn't matter, to find out who the bomber was. Because then he'll give that information to Vera Farmiga. They can stop the next dirty bomb.
That's one of those time travel concepts that's just like, whew.
It's really good, though, because it's the same kind of thing where he starts out where he kind of gets down with the program. He's like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. And he tries to, and he just there's stuff where he messes up and he dies right away or he falls off the train. So it's a little bit like Edge of Tomorrow. But then he starts kind of getting interested in Michelle Monaghan's character. He's like, why can't I stop this? If I actually could stop this from happening. She's like, and Vera Farmiga's like, you don't understand. It already happened.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. He's like, but what if I could? And so it gets into this kind of like alternate reality, alternate dimension string theory, that kind of multiple dimensions. Then it starts getting into that kind of stuff, and it gets really interesting. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like a lot. That sounds like a movie you have to watch a couple of times.
Well, they do a good job of keeping you on track with where Jake Gyllenhaal's character is. Because after a while, he does it so many times that like, and he's on a time limit too in the movie, because in the real world, even though he does the same 8 minutes, in the real world, the clock keeps ticking towards that dirty bomb that's going to go off. So there is like a time limit.
So every time he comes back, that's more time gone.
It's more time you wasted. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like he can keep jumping back until he fixes it. It's like, okay, no. If you're gone 8 minutes, you're gone 8 minutes here, right?
In the real world, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's cool, man.
That's a very interesting theory. That sounds... I would like to watch that movie. So let me say why I like this movie, and then we can move on, because there is a twist at the end, which I can't free
talk
on
about.
Tubi. Great, I will watch it.
I have it on Blu-ray too, which nobody uses anymore.
What's that? Is that like an 8-track?
Remember when Blu-ray was like the latest thing?
Yeah. Remember when TVs were like curved?
Yeah.
And then and that was like, if you had that in your house, you were God level.
Yeah. I remember big screens used to be like $15,000, $20,000, and they weren't HD.
Yeah, they were just big.
They were just big, and they took up like half a room. You know, and then laser discs, man. Dude,
laser discs.
They were like giant CDs. You had to flip them over because they didn't have that much data. Anyway, source code.
Source code.
No, I like this movie because it gets into... I can't really talk about why I like it so much because it gets into the spoilers. And I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't care about spoiling it for everybody else.
Do it, dude. I'm going to watch it regardless.
Okay, are you going to watch it? You promise?
I mean, how many movies are on my list at this point to watch?
All right.
So I don't care about... I'm not a big spoiler fan. Honestly, I like spoilers because it makes me look forward to the movie. Because if I miss like a big twist or a game changer, then I get upset. So if I'm looking forward to it and it happens, I go, wow!
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm not against spoilers. Go for it.
The big twist in the movie is that, spoiler. I don't know why I keep saying that. I don't care about you guys. I do care about you guys. Don't leave us. I need validation. So he's in this thing, right? Called the source code. But what you find out is that the source code is not a place. It's like it's a program, basically.
Sure.
And what they need is like basically a human brain within which to like hook up to the machine. So he's not actually in a physical space. She goes to another chamber and he's actually dead. He's on like a respirator. And so what he's seeing in the space is like a projection of his mind, you know? And when they do, when they keep sending him back.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if he's on the original train, he got blown up. They're just keeping him alive.
Well, yeah, what they did is they did a secret squirrel thing, and he actually died, or his helicopter got shot down in Iraq, and they stole his body for this government thing. And so his parents don't even know.
He's dead.
They thought, they know he's dead, but they thought he just died honorably on the field.
Yeah, and they didn't recover his body because it got like mangled and stuff.
And so he's like, I'm going to save Michelle Monaghan. She's like, it can't be done. It's not time travel. You're just in a digital program. He's like, but I'm going to do it anyway, And so he does one last run through and he finds the guy, and he figures it out, and the guy gets captured, and they're going to go stop them. He gives her the information. He's like, I want you to send me back in one more time, because after this, they're going to wipe his brain, and they're going to have him as a guinea pig forever. He's like, send me in one more time. Let me do it one more time. And so he goes, and the first thing he does.
Are you crying?
It's so touching, man. It's
okay.
I'm getting sentimental in my old age. He calls his dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he said, he says, hey, I'm a friend of your son's, and he wanted you to know this.
Sure.
And so he gets to kind of reconcile with his dad a little bit.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he knows his time is running out, and he's got like 1 minute left. So he's with Michelle Monaghan, and he says, if you...
Oh, no, he's laughing. It's really getting to him both.
It's really getting... the laughing is to cover my crying.
Sure.
The tears of a clown. He says... If you knew you only had 1 minute left to live, what would you do? She says, I'd make the most of it. And so they kiss, and that's right when his time runs out and everything kind of freezes. This is a beautiful moment. And then it keeps going. He's like, they're still there. He's like, everything was supposed to stop. She's like, what are you talking about?
She's like, you son of a bitch. You're crafty.
So what he does is he calls Vera Farmiga in this kind of like alternate timeline that he has created, he's like, listen, I want you to know that this thing has worked out better than
I
we
fucking did it.
Yeah, he's
yeah!
like, but now it's almost like he created an alternate timeline or an alternate reality where these things didn't happen, and he's still there. And
he's just living it out.
Yeah,
in that.
And he just decides to live it out. The only thing that's weird is that he's in this guy's body now, and he is this guy, so this guy's life is basically over. So he like stole this guy's body.
That must be getting used to. Like, you go to the bathroom and you're like,
oh, this
either
is
really happy or really disappointed.
Lateral move, you know.
Like, man.
So yeah, that's source code, and I'm a sentimental schmo.
Okay, everybody talk shit about Izzy crying.
Yeah, let's
no. Empower him. It's okay to cry. Did you know that vulnerability is the second aspect of a warrior? It's if you're going to be a warrior, there's specific aspects that you need, and vulnerability is number 2.
What's number 1?
Ask Travis Haley. Okay.
Vulnerability.
Yeah.
I'm a true warrior.
Izzy is a true warrior.
I'm going to write a book called The Crying Warrior, the Israel Wright story.
Exactly. There you go. Real short story.
What do you got, man?
What's Time Cop?
Dude, Time Cop.
Tell me about Time Cop.
It's a classic Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. This is when Jean-Claude Van Damme was at the
pinnacle?
height of his career. Yeah, man. And it's basically, he's a time cop. So basically, like, there are, people have ways of going back in time. And so, like, he works for this, I forget what they're called, like the time cop unit, basically. They have to go back and they have to stop people, they have to send people back to, to like time prison or whatever. But, it's so funny. Now you're asking me about it. Now there's so much. Basically, Ron Silver is the bad guy.
Okay.
And they're trying to, like, in the beginning of the movie, there's like an Old West, like a Civil War Union stagecoach, and they got all this gold in here. And the dude, like, is in the road. He's like, I need your gold. And they're like, get out of the road, you heathen, or whatever. I don't know what they said back then. But, and he pulls out these Uzis and he just mows them all down. You're like, oh, what's going on here?
I mean, I've seen a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. But I don't think this is one of the ones I've seen.
This one's one of, I don't know that there are any really good Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. They're just exciting and action-packed.
Yeah, and there's a lot of kicks. Yeah, there's a lot of kicks.
Dude, and he's famous for doing the splits and the 360-degree kick every movie. And I don't think, folks, you can help me out there in information land, but he was not a martial artist. He was a dancer or something.
Was he a dancer?
Maybe he knows more. I don't know. Maybe he knows martial arts, but I think he was primarily known as a dancer. Maybe that's just like, what do they call that? Like an urban legend or something. Yeah, and Jean-Claude Van Damme, every movie he does like the splits and then the 360-degree kick.
Sure.
Yeah, the roundhouse.
Yes, dude. That's his staple right there.
That's a staple, yeah. Basically, Ron Silver is a crooked politician who, like, he's, like, going back and giving himself information on the future so that he can, like, become president and, like, control the whole world.
Oh,
so
okay.
they're trying to stop him.
Interesting. I'll have to see that one.
Time Cop, yes.
Time Cop. Okay, I'll have to add Time Cop, too. I'm not opposed to watching any JCVD movies because they are the best waste of time.
He kind of had a bit of a renaissance lately. Like, he kind of came back into the
He did like
limelight,
Expendables. I mean, he's one of those novelty actors that is like Chuck Norris,
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on, man. I know you can talk about this next one for a long time. Star Trek First Contact.
First Contact, baby. I think out of all of the Star Trek movies, well, I think Wrath of Khan is probably the best one out of all, objectively speaking. But this one is my personal favorite. It's Star Trek First Contact, and they meet the Borg again. And the Borg go back in time, and the Borg plan is to destroy and kill the person who invented warp flight for humanity. So basically, and just take over planet Earth and make it a Borg planet. Because I guess they're really after humanity. Like they got a hard on for humanity.
Yeah, they got a vendetta against humanity.
And this one introduces the Borg Queen, who Alice Krieg plays the Borg Queen, and she has a relationship with Jean-Luc Picard. I love this one because it deals with Jean-Luc Picard's trauma from being from being captured by the Borg and becoming Locutus. So there's like that stuff that he has to go through, and my two favorite characters, I think a lot of people's favorite characters in the series, Picard and Data, are like kind of central to the story, And our good friend Neil McDonough's in it. He plays Lieutenant Hawk.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm looking at it right now.
The one character with a name who you know is probably going to die because he's just not quite high enough on the starring list to live throughout the entire movie. But you know everybody else is going to. Yeah, great movie. I think the Star Trek movies, the Next Generation movies, like Generations. I thought it was okay, but they obviously killed Kirk, which I'm sure a lot of people were sad about. But, how many times are you going to go back to that well? And then they had Insurrection and then Nemesis, which starred a very young, svelte Tom Hardy.
Oh,
as a clone of Jean-Luc Picard. But, anyway, I really enjoyed this one because I like... you like seeing them all together, and Jonathan Frakes directed this one, actually. So good job, Jonathan Frakes. You stay.
Shout out, Johnny boy.
You keep doing those push-ups and sit-ups, man.
I actually have not seen this one, or many Star Treks at all.
Have you seen any Star Trek movies?
The newer ones. I've seen maybe, but I couldn't remember. And the only thing that I know is, and I think I've said this before, is that the guy from Hot Fuzz is the mechanic. What's his name?
Oh, you saw the new
the new
Chris
one.
The Chris Pine one. Sorry,
the Chris Pine ones.
The Chris Pine.
Pine.
That's if Chris Pratt and Chris Pine had a kid.
Pine. Yeah.
Chris Pine.
But yeah, I've seen those ones, but I mean, could I tell you the plot of them? Absolutely not. I guess it was just one of the movies that was on, and I just happened to be around.
Yeah, they're very movie of the week.
Yeah.
They're not very memorable, unfortunately. But Star Trek First Contact, I think I'm
looking at pictures. It looks kind of sick. The Borg Queen, big old bald head.
The best, one of the best Star Trek moments, certainly one of the best moments in the movies, is the speech that Jean-Luc Picard gives in the ready room, where they're getting pushed back and everyone's we got to abandon the ship. And Jean-Luc Picard is no, we're not going to abandon the ship. I want you to double the guard. And Worf's sir, we have to go. And Jean-Luc Picard calls him a coward. And Worf's if you were any other man, if you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand.
Nice.
And he goes into the room, and then I forget the actress's name. She's really good. She plays the co-pilot to Mr. Warp Drive. But she goes in there and she tries to convince him, and she realizes what's going on. He's not thinking about anybody else. He has he wants to get revenge on the Borg for what they did to him.
Sure.
She's that's why you're doing this, And he has this great speech where we're they attack our borders and we fall back. They push into our territory and we fall back. But the line must be drawn here, and no further. And I will make them pay for what they've done.
You getting all jazzed up.
Yeah, but it's it's totally wrong. It's totally wrong-hearted because he's not. It sounds noble and cool, but he's totally doing it for selfish reasons, and he's going to sacrifice everybody else. So
that's the most officer thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah.
He finally becomes a true officer. Yes.
Yeah, I mean we have in our officer episode coming out soon. That was a very common theme, and I know because I watched a lot of movies.
Officers sacrificing dudes and not.
Oh yeah,
realizing...
they are 100% ego driven. It is. I mean, that's the theme. I watched three-hour movies about officers in the past 2 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for you. You're good at doing the research, man. I need to watch more movies.
But yeah, the common theme between all of them is just.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Ego. Is they're not doing it for the men, even though they say they are. It's all for their name being written in history as they just want the glory. They don't care how many men. We'll talk about it more in that.
Dude,
episode,
I can't wait for you to talk about this. You sound like you got some good stuff to say, man.
Some very different ones we've never talked about before.
Really?
Yeah, I watched
good.
a movie from 1957.
Whoa.
It was really good. It was 3 hours long.
You're expanding your horizons.
I
my
am.
friend.
I know.
I'm proud of you.
I'm not watching Source Code. I'm watching The Bridge Across Kwai.
Bridge and River Kwai?
Yeah.
Dude, I love that movie.
You love that movie?
That's
Okay, we'll talk
such a
about it
good-
later.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. We'll talk about
Nicholson!
it. Yeah.
Okay.
What
Anyways,
have
that's...
I done? Alfre Woodard plays Lily. She's the one who tries to convince Picard to blow up the darn ship. And James Cromwell plays Zephram Cochrane, who invents warp drive for the humanity. And Alice Creek is awesome.
Okay.
Good old Neil McDonough. Okay.
Well, this one's going on the list because I like... One thing that Star Trek... That's a spinoff.
Star Truckin'.
It's a trucker, but
That sounds like a really bad parody
It
of
does.
Star Truckin'.
Yeah, Star Truckers. It's like Ice Road Truckers, but it's like galactic truckers.
It's like really bad.
And they're no
screen.
different from regular truckers.
Yeah,
It's
they're just
they just
truckers.
air in space.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm adding this to the list because, I mean, one thing that I've noticed Star Trek does really well is I'm a big FX person, like makeup and all these crazy wild characters, and it looks like, just based off pictures that I hit on Google and I look, they have a lot of crazy. I mean, the Borg Queen.
They did such a good job.
They did a
with
great
her.
job
She
with
looks
her.
very moist.
Very moist.
In the movie.
Yeah, she looks glistening.
Glistening, yes.
She's glistening.
She captures Data. She's like trying to seduce Data. Like she gives him a patch of skin on his wrist and she blows on it. The hairs stand up and he's like,
oh,
yeah.
I can feel.
I'm a real boy.
Yeah. Okay. So Star Trek, yeah, adding that to the list. I like how you put, for another movie here, Army of Darkness.
Yes. Have you seen Army of Darkness?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
It's been a while, though. This is
Okay.
really like, this is my boomstick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
First of all, he comes back. This is, I mean, Army of Darkness takes place. It's the sequel.
It's the third movie in a series.
Of Evil Dead,
Yeah.
right? He time like this warp opens up from the spirit and it brings him back to like the medieval ages.
Yep.
But like there's like these flying skeletons and
the
whatnot.
Deadites and stuff.
Yeah, and then does he fall? So he has everything on him. Like he has the shotgun. He has
even his car comes through.
Yeah, the car comes
classic.
through. Yeah. Could you imagine being medieval and that just something like that pops up and you're like, what is going on?
Dude, I'm surprised. I feel like most time travel movies where they go back in time, like if you go far enough back in time, grammar, I feel like they would just get killed. They would be thought they were witches or sorcerers,
warlocks,
or
demon.
whatever. Yeah, demons.
Yeah,
you know?
something really religious driven.
Yeah.
You're like, you are from hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're from outside of our borders. You're from outside of town. We're gonna kill you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Maybe
must
we're just
be...
being stereotypical. We'll ask somebody once we invent time travel.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll send a couple guinea pigs back in time.
What if they're totally cool with it? What if they're like,
wow,
oh yeah, we understand technology. We understand this is an advanced form of tech. We're not scared of you. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, back then they were pooping in buckets and throwing it out the side of holes in the castle.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. What is that? It's a lighter. This man controls fire. He must be a mage.
What is that from?
I don't know.
Oh,
I just made that up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That sounded like a quote from something. But Army of Darkness is great because it's Sam Raimi at his best. Director Sam Raimi, who directed Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. For those of you who had not been born in 1992, that was a movie he just directed. It's not his best. If you want to see Sam Raimi at his best, either the first Spider-Man movie or Army of Darkness, 1992. But yeah, and it's Bruce Campbell, man, who has appeared, I think, in almost every single Sam Raimi movie because they're best friend. But yeah, it's ridiculous and it's awesome at the same time in its ridiculousness. It's got crazy, like, wild ideas, and he fights himself. Like he gets like a little mini dude, evil dude jumps in his mouth, and then he has a second self growing out of himself, and then that becomes Evil Ash.
See, all these pieces, I'm like, I don't remember any of this in the movie.
The cool thing is that the character Ash is he's pretty like bitter and he's pretty selfish for most of the movie.
But he has that change,
that
right?
arc,
that you
maybe.
love. He
That
has
arc.
the arc because
Yep.
then he like defends the castle at the end, right?
Yeah, he
and
defends the castle, and it's a good arc. It's actually a 3-movie arc because in the first movie, Evil Dead, he kind of takes the role of the final girl, like the last person alive, and he's a coward. Like he's trying to run away.
He's trying to run away.
And then
He
the end of that one,
do with it.
and then the second one starts off right where that ended, and it's the same kind of thing. He's trying to get out of there, but then these people keep circumstances keep bringing him back, and then at the end he's like, I'm through running, And then I love it when he goes back to the regular world, and then the Deadites attack. And he's just on it. He's got the lever action shotgun, and he kills the Deadite girl. He's like, give me some sugar, baby. hail to the king, baby.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, he's actually, that actor is making quite the, Bruce Campbell's making quite the appearances. I mean, he was just in the recent, he's in Marvel movies now.
Well, yeah, if you guys, and for anybody that has seen Multiverse of Madness, he is the street vendor that he
constantly
starts
punches himself in the face.
And if you wait for the after credit sequence, it finally ends.
It finally ends. Yeah, I saw an article that that's not the last time he's gonna be in a Marvel movie.
Really?
Yeah, he's gonna be continued to show kind of like, I guess,
Stan Lee.
Yeah, Stan Lee type of just really caveats
down for that.
Yeah, see, it's the multiverse of madness.
Multiverse of madness.
It's multiverse of Evil Dead. Yeah.
I met Bruce Campbell once.
Did you? Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was a super cool story, I bet, too.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm going to tell it right now.
Do it.
It was 2000, I think 1999 or 2000. Me and my buddy went to Denver to do a book for the book signing for his first book, If Chins Could Kill, which is his autobiography, which you find out in he almost got Die Hard. He was almost cast as Bruce Willis's role in Die Hard. But, and I posted it on my Instagram. Yeah. You guys go to my Instagram, My Happy Self Too. There's a picture if you scroll down.
Is
a very skinny me. Yeah. That's my natural curls, baby.
Really? That's natural?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
But he was super cool. He was a lot of fun. I asked him a question. I asked him the stupidest actor question, which is do you have any advice for somebody trying to break into acting? Or how to get an agent? And his answer was, I can't even get a hold of my agent.
Yeah. I think movies, real quick. I can't speak today if that's
real
obvious.
Freaking quick.
Real quick. Just mentioning some of these because these are good. The Terminator films, obviously.
Classics.
Can't get away from them.
The first two.
You didn't like the third?
I hated all the rest.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the third. I think it's because the third was the first one I saw.
Oh, okay. So it has a little place in your heart.
Yeah, when I was a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously the third one is out when I was a kid, and it was like, okay, well, what kind of kid goes out of his way to watch old movies?
No,
you wait for the movies to come to you.
If it was before I was born or black and white, I didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Exactly. This was like the time that you would go to Best Buy and literally watch an entire movie at
on the home entertainment center.
Yes.
Yeah, you just sit there for an hour and a half.
Yeah. That's how I watched the second Matrix. Yeah, because you know how they had the setup with the home stereo and it's like the living room that this could be your living room at Best Buy. Yeah, I would just sit there as kids. My dad was getting new music equipment. I was just be like, take your time, man. I know you're gonna be here for a long time.
He knew exactly where you'd be.
Yeah,
that's the advantage of being a kid who grows up on media is you sit him in front of a TV and he'll be there 4 hours later.
Exactly. Now it's an iPad.
Now it's an iPad.
But yeah, the Terminator films, obviously huge hitters for the time travel. I mean, hell, what's the one with Christian Bale? Terminator Salvation. I mean, they're still working the time travel. Every movie they're working the time travel.
They're never really, I don't think they're ever, I don't know if what was the last Terminator movie?
The one,
Dark Fate.
Yeah, and that's with old Arnold in it, right? Yeah.
So they got to do something. They're probably going to reboot it.
Yeah.
They're probably going to start it over again.
Sure.
Because they just can't keep rolling their corpses out in front of the camera.
I don't think Arnie's got more in him, though.
No. What Arnold Schwarzenegger needs to do, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I know you listen to the podcast. You're a big fan. King Conan. There was this idea once that he was going to make a third Conan movie where it's the end of his life. He is a king. And he has one last kind of final challenge or one big war that he has to fight. And this is his destiny. He's got to do that, man. He could be an old Conan.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Because, I mean, at the end of all the Conans, he's got a gray beard. He's sitting on the throne.
He eventually went on to, and then this could be that story, either where he's about to become king.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
All right, but no more Terminator films.
No more Terminator films, no. I think we've done enough. Yeah. I mean, there's a point where, there's a brand or a movie franchise that, they just beat to the absolute living. They beat it to death.
You can only slice it so many different ways. No. A robot from the future is sent back to kill the person who will eventually...
Rambo, I watched the newest Rambo, and he's like,
Where he's on a ranch.
Yeah. in like New Mexico or Arizona or something, and like his granddaughter. Is it the granddaughter? Yeah, it's the granddaughter. So like gets kidnapped by the cartel,
and then she dies.
Yeah, and then she dies. Yeah, that's crazy. And then they come to get him because he like obviously kills a bunch of people and like says, "Come on, get me, compadres." And I'll be honest, he fucks him up.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, they have to go more and more hardcore with him because it's like
he's getting old. What is he gonna do?
Yeah, what else is he gonna do?
I mean, that honestly, I did like that movie because
I liked it
because the trench system, he was using the tactics that he fought against.
Yeah,
in Vietnam,
he brought them into his world.
Exactly. He's like, well, the VCs use or like the MVA guys use this against me, and it's like it's totally effective. It's so effective. I mean, the tunnel system was really cool. And yeah, he marked everybody. It's popping up out of holes in the ground and like spraying people, then going back under and running around,
spiking people from
and having all the bamboo shoots and having like the rig things. But that has nothing to do with time travel. But I mean, it was a good one. But I don't think they can keep making it. You can't keep making Rambo because Sylvester Stallone is going to stop speaking English at one point. Like you're not going to be be saying a word he said. Yeah, I mean it's hard enough already.
Too many horse steroids, man.
Yeah, the Italian stallion is becoming the Italian mule at this point.
Geriatric, yeah. He's got to be in his like 70s now.
He is. I think he is. That's a good question. So,
other honorable mentions: we got Looper.
That's a good. I like that.
Yeah.
They only use blunderbusses, which is nuts because based off our Shiftfire episode, he's 70. Sylvester Stallone is 76.
Yeah.
He's halfway to 80.
76.
That's gnarly. But he looks great for his age, so whatever. Keep doing you.
He could be president. He's older than the president, right?
I know.
Avengers Endgame with we're gonna talk about this more in the self-sacrifice episode.
Yeah, Endgame's good.
Endgame.
Quick note, Tenet has to do with time travel.
Yeah, man. Has to do with you.
No, I am the small. For those of you that didn't know, I was in Tenet, but not like a very cool. I mean, it was a cool process, like filming the show or the movie. Yep. And I still haven't seen the movie. I still have not seen Tenet. I only watched the part I was in because that's the
best and the worst of Christopher Nolan. I don't like the fact that like I think Interstellar. I think it's a run and gun battle for first place between Interstellar and Dunkirk for his greatest film. But I think the further away he gets, the further away he gets from personal stories and the more like high concept he becomes, like Tenet's a very high concept.
It is very high.
It's very
I think
loud.
that was his prod.
Everyone's standing next to a jet engine while they're talking. You can't hear a thing.
Really?
And I think because he mixed the movie a certain way, so it's only meant to be
in theaters.
In a certain
That's what I heard too.
Yeah.
Like an IMAX theater, right? It's meant to be seen in IMAX. That's what I heard. And I think it did so terrible because obviously they had this vision for the movie and then quarantine hit and like the movie theaters closed. And filming Tenet, like I had a great appreciation for it because I mean there was obviously you have like all the actors and everybody's talking.
Is everybody there? Robert Pattinson?
Everybody's. Yeah, I talked to Robert Pattinson. Fun fact about Robert Pattinson, that dude jewels, like the little vape thing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he jewels more than anyone I have ever seen in my life. Like obviously we're in all the combat gear and he had a pouch specifically that he would keep like a bunch of jewels in, and every time the camera would cut, he would like be ripping on that thing.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was I was like, whoa, okay. But yeah, I talked to Robert Pattinson and then the other guy, the son of Denzel Washington's
son.
Talked to him, and it was really funny because he had a little PA always stand next to him with an umbrella, and he would always stand under the umbrella, and I'm like, come on, man.
Come on. Live a little.
Yeah, live a little. Be a little dangerous.
I wonder what advice his dad gave to him before he started his career. I would like to have been in the room.
He's like, I'm Denzel Washington.
He's like,
here's your first high-speed movie role.
You're
welcome.
A career because you're my son.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, there was an appreciation because everybody would talk, and apparently that movie was like Christopher Nolan's like biggest aspiration for a movie he was going to make. So that was like his movie that he's been working on for years. That was like supposed to be his masterpiece apparently. But that was like all the rumors. So he was like really taking it seriously.
Wow.
But Tenet was about time travel and I haven't seen it and I'm in it in the last scene. Yeah.
Can you tell where you're at?
I can.
Could you point yourself out?
Yeah, I'm actually in an identifiable role because like I'm playing the platoon sergeant of like the blue team. So like the blue team is like retreating because we got messed up, but we're retreating backwards. And
maybe we can do for the Patreon. We can do a
show
scene
where I am.
dissection,
and then like there's these like Connexes that like it's supposed to be like in reverse. The CH-47 helicopters have like one's taken, but it's supposed to be like the way they infilled us was in the Connexes and dropped us, but we're going in reverse back out of the Connexes, running in reverse to the objective. And it wasn't camera work. We actually had to learn how to run in reverse.
Right. Pretty
so
impressive, man.
so I was like acting as a platoon sergeant. So, when you get off or get onto a helicopter, you have to be counted on.
Yeah.
Right. So there's like a choke point and like I'm acting as the guy at the choke point. So I'm like waving at them to hurry to get on the bird, but I'm actually waving in reverse. So I'm like, instead of like putting my hand to my face, I'm like doing this thing where I'm like putting my back, like I'm backhanding the air in reverse. Yeah, but it was cool. It was a cool experience. 3 weeks in Palm Springs. Definitely I had a really good time. Met a lot of cool people, met a lot of terrible people. So
it takes all kinds for the world of background.
Yeah. But go for it, dude.
Just a couple more. I just want people to get it. If you haven't seen 12 Monkeys, 1995, Terry Gilliam, Bruce Willis, one of Terry Gilliam's best movies. Also, didn't quite get a chance to get to it, but Arrival, if you haven't seen it.
The Big Egg.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
The Big Egg. Yeah, The Big Egg in the Sky. That's Denis Villeneuve, who's done Sicario and Dune and stuff like that. I got to stop saying stuff like that. My fiance hates it.
Stuff like that.
She makes fun of me, which is awesome.
Like
I'm not going to say anything about it, but it does have to do with time travel, and that's all I can say, but I won't say anything more. If you haven't seen it, since we're not talking about it, I won't spoil it for you. But
okay.
Dude, freaking Interstellar, Deadpool 2, Men in Black 3. We didn't get to the TV shows and stuff, but like Quantum Leap, Future Man, Heroes, Doctor Who. Doctor Who's about everything. Time and space. Come with me.
Heroes used to be a big one. That was like a
Heroes
big,
that's one of those ones that started strong.
And just ended really hard.
Crashed
hard. That's like the little Asian guy, right? They can actually time travel.
Yeah, Hero. Yep.
Yeah. I remember watching the pilot and like he's staring at the clock and then it's like clicking and then it goes the other way 1 second and he's like get that! Yeah, Heroes is going. And then you have video games too.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I mean, the classic Chrono Trigger from the Super Nintendo days. Folks, if you're gamers and you want good stories and good time travel stuff, Chrono Trigger, Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, and then one of my favorites, BioShock Infinite. Ooh. Really, because they kind of get into the whole high concept science behind time travel and like, alternate realities and stuff like that. And it's really good. And it's action packed too. They kind of have an alternate past where you go up to this floating city, and you're Booker DeWitt and you're after this one girl, Elizabeth. She's held up in this tower and you have to kind of spring her out. But
you sound like you've played this game before.
Oh, it's so good. I beat this game. This was one of those. I played this game right as I was getting out of the military. So 2009-ish. No, it was after that. Yeah, it was after this. Sorry, folks. Yeah, you guys wouldn't get. You were going to try to get me, folks. You're screaming at your radios right now. You're like, no, it came out later. And I'm like, why are you talking like that? And you're like, I don't know. If it's Beach Pen, I'm sorry. That was really insensitive of me. I apologize.
You're like, what does that mean?
You're like, it's okay. I've dealt with this my whole life. I'm really at peace with it. And we're way off track right now.
What are you, Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys? But anyway, super off track. That's our list. Let's do a quick transition to our fan question that comes to us from Tyler via Instagram. And Tyler asks, have you guys ever done or thought about doing competitive shooting? Very interesting question.
Yeah, good question.
It's a good question. I mean, yeah, I think competitive shooters, I've seen some crazy, really good ones. So there's like, I believe it's the USPCA. Yeah. So
USPCA.
The United States Practical Shooting Association. So it's kind of like the league for competitive shooting. You can do like single gun rounds, you can do 2 gun, you can do 3 gun, and that just means like either pistol or pistol rifle shotgun. And I know a lot of people that do the USPCA matches and say it's a blast. Actually served with a guy and went to RASP with a guy that's like a USPCA Grandmaster now, I think.
He was a good shooter?
He is an outstanding shooter. Some of the videos he posts, like people, obviously, like you look at it and the dude's fast. Like ridiculous. We're talking like maybe a 0.7 second reload on a pistol. So like the dude is fast. And not to mention like he's reached the point where he's too fast that people don't believe it. Like, so he has a lot of people like come at him and they're like, dude, you're like rigging the targets and stuff. But no, he's so good. He is so good. And I'm not sure. I think he's still in, so I won't mention his name. But yeah, I've definitely considered doing it. I just haven't had the opportunity to like, or at least even tried to go out of my way and like find a match and schedule it. But I'm sure it'll happen. But they look fun as hell.
And in time, that would be something that I would like to look into. Where I'm at right now with my shooting level, I just want to keep it basic. Like I want to do, dry run drills in my living room or drawing drills in my living room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. That's where I'm at right now. Also time wise, when it comes to being competitive in anything, you got to put a lot of time into it.
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
don't know that I have the time nor the inclination to try to do that right now.
I mean, there's actually, besides the USPCA, there's a competition that's becoming fairly popular that actually Izzy and I have looked into doing on Shift Fire, which is the tactical games.
Yeah, it's basically CrossFit.
It's CrossFit and competitive shooting mixed together, and it's blowing up. Like, I've watched it grow in the past year, and like it is completely on a different level. Like, there's people from the CrossFit games that have transitioned to the tactical games. Yeah, like what is his name? Josh Hepner or something like that, I think his name is. He's a monstrosity, and he's a really good shooter. Like I started following him on Instagram some time ago, and like the guy's getting fast. But the one thing about competitive shooting is you can definitely, soup these guns up to where, like, if I took a standard Glock versus like a staccato or a 2011, these things like have zero recoil, and like it's like shooting a BB gun.
Yeah.
So obviously your equipment really does matter and like what you do, but then that's not a factor that you can consider if you have the training and the experience. So yeah, bottom line up front, Tyler, I would love to do a shooting competition and look forward to doing one in the future.
It's about time for
the game. The game.
I can see what I did there.
Better do this game before the Germans come.
Before we run out of time, my comrade.
Yes.
That's not German.
Okay, no, it's not. No, I watched, what's that one movie with like literally everybody in it? That's really hard.
It's like casting a wide net, Cam.
Oh man, it's like a crime movie about, it takes place in London. There's like an 85 carat diamond that like there's all these characters.
Oh, Ocean's 12 or
not Ocean's 12. It's like,
is
but
it
it's
newer
British.
one?
No, it's old. It has it has Brad Pitt, and he plays this pikey gypsy. That's Snatch. Watched Snatch last night.
Wow.
Very cool movie. But anyways, this is the game. Okay, folks. This game should be fun for you, and if not, it'll definitely be fun for me. I'll call this game Time. She's A-travelin. Chris wrote this, so if you're like, Cameron, what are you saying?
You can tell the hand of magic voice Chris on these writings sometimes.
I know sometimes. Anyways, Time. She is A-travelin. I'm going to give you the name of a movie that involves time travel, and you can give me one of three answers. The name of the main character, the original year they time travel from, or the year they time travel to.
So
bonus points if you can get all three. The warm-up should make everything clear.
Okay.
Are you ready? So you can give me the name of the main character, the original year they time travel from, or the year they time travel to.
Okay, cool.
And if you can do all three, bonus points.
Okay, cool.
Which I don't know, when we say bonus points, like who actually keeps track? Oh, we know who keeps track.
Oh, yes.
We do.
Good old Johnny G.
Yeah. All right. So the answers are in order to main characters, year traveled from, and year time traveled to.
Okay.
All right. So the warm up. Back to the Future, the first one.
Okay, so this one's kind of a classic. Marty McFly, the main character.
Mm-hmm.
He travels from, I think, 1985 to 1955.
There you go.
All right, cool.
So you got all three of them.
All right,
so
cool.
any of those answers would give you a correct point.
Okay, cool. We kind of started off easy, though.
Yeah, okay. But you get it, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, here we go. The Final Countdown.
Ooh, brother. Well, I mean, I think the movie came out in 1980, and they travel back to December 7th, 1941. December 6th. December 6th, 1941.
Just got to do the year.
1941, yeah. I think December 7th.
Do you know any of the characters' names?
Oh my God. It's the USS Nimitz. That's the name of the boat.
Wow, you remember a lot about this movie.
I love this movie, man.
Really?
I mean, you know, Michael Douglas, Kirk Douglas is in it. Oh my gosh. You know.
You don't got to say anymore because you got it right on the head. Okay. Yeah, it was 1980, and they travel back to 1941.
Yeah,
it's Captain. The main character is Captain Warren Yelland or Warren Lasky.
If you haven't seen this one, folks, basically the USS Nimitz, a modern day aircraft carrier, goes through a time warp and ends up in the Pacific the day before the Pearl Harbor attack, and they have to morally decide whether or not to stop it. You know.
Oh wow! Oh, that's a really good. I'm surprised we didn't mention this one.
Well, it's on the list. We just kind of skipped over it and it's okay if you haven't seen it, Cam. I totally recommend it. It's a good one.
Okay, definitely have to check that one out. Okay, Looper.
Ooh, Looper. Oh, that's gonna be hard. Man, the name of the main character. I mean, it's Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I don't know the name of the character's name, but
take a guess. It's just one word.
Oh,
just
really?
give me a first name.
Oh gosh, Cooper. Let's see.
Why? Because the movie's name is Looper. You think it's Looper, the Cooper the Looper?
Cooper the Looper, yeah. or Strooper the Looper if he's German. Von Strooper. Let's see. Let me try to get the years. It's in the future. It's in the future compared to us.
Yeah.
Let's say
they also time travel back to the present, and then it goes farther into the future.
Yeah, yeah. So the present for them is still the future for us, but I think it's like 2030, and then like the future is like 2060.
Bump those numbers up just a tad. So the character's name is Joe.
Oh my
Joe. That's
gosh.
why I said one word. Just you'd be like Joe.
That's
Joe
super,
Schmo. Come on.
Yeah.
And then it's 2074.
2074
is the future.
Is where they are.
Yeah, and they come back to 2044.
2044. Okay, that's okay. Wow. That was a good one, man. Emily Blunt's in that one too. That was
yeah.
She was still rising in her
career. All right, are you ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
All right, we talked about this one, so I'm hoping you do well. Time Cop.
Oh man, I think. Let's see. I can't remember his name. Is it Cooper?
When in doubt, coop it out.
Coop it out. That's the tried and true name. It's not Joe. That would be too easy. The future is, or the present time that the movie takes place in is 2025, 2024, and then they go back to a bunch like 1929. They go back to like 1887 maybe. They go back to a couple different times. They go back to 1991, I think, maybe. Yeah.
Close, but no cigar, my friend. So the year they traveled from, so their present is 2004. Yeah, which, that's my favorite thing about these old time travel movies.
Yeah.
They when they travel to the future, it's not that much of a difference. It's like 2004 was the most advanced thing was like the A-track.
Yeah. They do that in Back to the Future too, because they go to the future and it's like
2012, I think.
2012, yeah.
So 2004, and they go back to 1994. So you said,
okay.
But that was really close.
All right.
Okay. All right. You ready for the next one?
Wait. Okay, go.
All right. I'm pretty sure you're going to get this one. Star Trek First Contact.
No, I will not get this because they use star dates in the future. I mean, you got Picard and
yeah, there you go. Ding,
right,
ding,
cool.
ding. Yeah, you're good on that.
Let's just leave it there.
Leave it there. I don't want a laundry list. What are the dates?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't. You're asking.
No,
you're giving right up.
No, I'm giving right up. Yeah.
Okay.
I got Picard. I'm good.
Okay. Oh yeah, technically, yeah, you got the point. Okay, so it's the time they traveled from is the 24th century.
Okay.
And then the year traveled to is 2063.
2063. That's coming up, guys. We're ready to.
Yeah.
Elon Musk will be the one who invents warp.
He'll be president at that point. But no, we won't have a president at that time. We'll just have like a.
We'll have a one world government.
Yeah, probably.
We'll all belong to China.
Or we'll all be dead by nuclear warfare. Okay, so you're doing pretty good. You've had a couple hiccups, but you've been pretty on the dot. So this is the last one, and it's your favorite movie on this list.
Oh gosh,
it's Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, 1992 is, I think, when it came out. I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of Judgment Day, when that was. Let's say 20. Let's say if it's 1992, 02, 12. I'm gonna say 2012.
2012.
I'm gonna say I stuttered. 20. Let's say 2020. I can't. Those dates are pretty foggy to me. And Judgment Day was August 11th, 1997 or something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
It was the year I was born, apparently.
Really?
95.
95. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So it's you could say John Connor or Sarah Connor, and you would.
Oh, John Connor, Sarah. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well.
I got fixated on the dates.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the year they traveled from is 2029.
Okay.
And then they go to 95.
Okay. 95.
Yeah.
95.
95.
Oh, okay.
Best year ever.
Okay. Cool. Wow.
All right, dude. That's all the ones on this list here.
Well, you know what? Something tells me I'm going to have a lot of chances to redeem myself in the coming weeks. So.
I think so, man. I think so. But, folks, we hope you enjoyed that game. But more importantly, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast. Time travel. It's a son of a bitch.
She's a traveling.
She's a traveling. That's right. If you guys want to support us, go ahead and check out our Patreon. It is full of fun. It has 3 tiers, and it's about to be really important. Also, if you guys don't feel like doing the Patreon, you can also donate to the podcast through Buy Me a Coffee.
Buy Me Coffee.
Send us a message on Instagram or straight to our email if you just want to say what's up, or if you have a question, and that's going to be pcfmpodcast@gmail.com, or
you can get a hold of us on Instagram, PCFM Podcast. Yeah. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Oh, yeah. It's not the knife hand thought was very authoritative.
It was. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare ya. But cue music.